Hey everybody, my name is Jen and this is Jen Geigley Knits. Welcome. I hope you're having a good weekend so far. I have a really big week ahead, very busy, many things happening, and so I'm getting a jump start on this week's video and just kind of recording it early. And I might be popping in and out on different days. We'll see how this week goes. I don't know yet. But the biggest thing I'm preparing for is a sock knitting machine crank-in. This is my third annual one. I think maybe it's my fourth. I think it's my third. I'm not sure. It's called PIGS. PIGS stands for People in Glorious Socks. And there's another one called Lambs in Minnesota. It's kind of a Midwest. There's like maybe a third animal, some other name. I can't remember all of them. Anyway, I'm going to PIGS. It is held in Ankeny, Iowa, which is outside of Des Moines. We are very fortunate to have a crank-in in this area because these are kind of rare from what I've heard. And ours is very special because the level of expertise in the attendees is amazing. There are ladies who've been cranking on machines since the 80s. There's a group of older guys that refurbish machines and sell them, like old metal sock knitting machines. There's every kind of machine represented there. There's Erlbachers, there's all kinds of things. And then I have a Dean & Bean 3D printed sock knitting machine. And I get questions about this a lot. So I'm going to talk about it a little bit today in case you're interested. If you've been here a long time, you've probably heard some of this before, but I think it's still interesting. And I do get a ton of questions about this. So I'm going to kind of show you what I pack. That's what all this stuff is over here. What I bring with me, and then next week I will do a little like recap of the event itself, and you can see all the machines in action, and you can kind of see what we did and what I made over the weekend. So I'm getting ready for this. I have to pack up all my stuff. This event actually starts on Wednesday of this week, and it goes Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It's like people come from far and wide to come to this because they are rare, these events. As much as I know, we get people from Minnesota and Nebraska and Illinois and Missouri and sometimes beyond. So I'm really lucky. It's really, really close for me. So I can come back and like not have to stay overnight. I do sometimes have one staycation night where I stay one night there because it is like a little bit of a drive for me. It's really not that bad, but it is kind of fun because we can crank pretty late. They let us stay pretty like a long time. And then it is kind of nice to just go stay at a hotel and then come right back the next morning. It's pretty hardcore like that. We try to make the most of our time because, like, especially with me, setting up this machine at home isn't always the easiest because you can't really let anyone bump it. I don't want the cat to bump into it. I don't want my kids to mess with it. And so when you get a lot of uninterrupted time to work on this, just like normal knitting, it's like gold. So we make the most of it and we are there for a long time, and we crank all day and night and like stop just for meals. And there's little workshops and classes. So all these people that know so much about machines, you'll stop every once in a while and there'll be some tips and tricks from different people, some demonstrations. And no matter what machine they're demonstrating on, you can kind of convert it to your machine and make it work. And so I learn something every time. A sock knitting machine, I will say, all of them, there is a steep learning curve. You don't just crank it and make a sock. It's not like that, but anybody can do it. I think you just have to stick with it and not get frustrated. And things like this have really boosted my knowledge and my confidence. And it's a lot of trial and error and working on it on your own. But these events are invaluable. And that's how I've learned pretty much everything about these machines and how to crank a sock. And I just think it's a different part of the knitting hobby. It is a totally separate thing. I love knitting socks by hand too, and I always will. But this is a fun way to get through my stash a little bit faster if you want like a vanilla sock. And I love cranking tubes and then splitting them. And I have a video about how I do that. You can split them, divide them into two tubes, and then you can do afterthought, heel, toe, add on a cuff. And then, that also speeds up your sock knitting a little bit, or really great for gift socks for, to give to others. So anyway, I'm excited for this weekend. It is a real treat. It's just a fun little kind of getaway. And then I have like my sock knitting friends and it's just fun to reunite and see each other again. And then, spend our weekend making socks. And I want to challenge myself to make some different ones this time. I do a lot of tubes, and then I'm like, you know, you really can make the whole sock on the machine. You can make the heel and the toe. I just sometimes wimp out and don't do it. So I kind of want to make some complete sock sets this weekend, but we'll see, because tubes are really fun too. But I'm definitely looking forward to this, and I can't wait to get there. And I'm kind of working on my packing, so I'll kind of show you what I'm bringing. And the yarn I'm bringing, we have to wind it onto cones. I'll show you how that all works in a bit. So the other things we have going on this week are, I have after school knitting club. I have a full day campus visit with my daughter and her best friend to take them to Iowa State University. And I am so excited to take them. I cannot express how excited I am, but I have to keep it cool because they're gonna be embarrassed. So I'm gonna, you know, very nonchalantly take them all around campus and show them it's where I went to school too. And so, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited to show them around and do their little tours and see the housing and all that stuff. They are going to be roommates, and I could not be more excited about this. And it's going to be a really fun day. So it's like a whole day visit. And then poor Dinah, who's back here, she's like taking a little nap. She has to get 2 teeth pulled. And so it's like an all day vet visit. And I'm just like, I hate it, but we want to get her feeling better. And so we're doing it, but I feel sad. And so that's a whole thing. And then I've got the crank in. And then, I mean, that's it. But I'll probably pop in again, maybe like as I leave for the crank in or something. There'll be another video. I also have a video to share of Erica and I having coffee last weekend. So I'll show you that, because she has a lot of fun projects she's been working on. So let me show you that right now. Okay, Erica's got a color scheme going on.
I'm having a pink-purple moment.
You're not fighting it.
No, I'm not fighting it at all.
And the bag. Sorry, I have to pick it out of the bag.
And my bag.
And your socks.
And my socks.
What socks are those?
These are old. I think it's that Mondine.
Oh.
That tote. Remember that yarn store tote?
Yes.
It's
I
like
do.
their camp. I think it was their camp pattern from a long time ago.
Cute.
But these are my spats. Spat? How do you say those? From Jane Richmond. They're older.
Nice. I went through a real Jane
though.
Richmond phase. Is that from the book?
I loved her so. All of her stuff. Yes, it is from Journey.
Yeah,
Right?
I have
Is
that
what
book.
it's called? Yeah, I knit these a long time ago, but I knit them in baby alpaca, and although they were super dreamy in baby alpaca, they are not the most warm. They're more of a fashion. And so when we went to Rhinebeck, one of the things on my list was hot pink yarn for fingerless mitts. So these are wool and vinyl. Colorway it's her DK base, and the colorway is Heartbreakers. So that's been very fun. I made them a little extra long so that they can go all the way up, and I can cuff them if I want. So they turned out good.
Yeah.
I put a thumb gusset in there too. I just kind of like smushed 2 patterns together.
Super smart. They look good. Your thumb looks awesome.
Yeah.
Those are fun. That's a fun use of Rhinebeck yarn.
Trying to be good. And, this was Cake Palooza, right? That's where we saw her. Yeah, I'm trying to be good and get through everything that we bought at Rhinebeck before we go to the next one. So I can buy more.
Which is coming up fast.
Coming up so fast. We'll be at Nash. Is it Yarn Fest or just Nash?
Nash Yarn Fest.
Nash Yarn Fest.
It's like almost in 2 weeks. 3 weeks?
Yeah.
It's like really soon.
The countdown is on.
Okay, talk about your sweater.
Okay.
Unless you don't want to.
No. This is The Broom by Andrea Mowry.
It's so great.
The neckline is really dreamy. I just kind of want everything in this neckline.
The whole fit
Yeah.
is perfect, and your length is perfect.
Yeah. Do you want me to stand up?
Maybe, if you don't mind. Look how good. It is so cute. It's seriously really great.
So when did we do this? I did a Lion Brand order, maybe like early winter. Oh, when I ordered the yarn for other things. Sorry, I'm just having my mind blank. But this was a new yarn at that time. It's the Wool Ease Air. So I ordered one skein to kind of play with, and it's just been kind of hanging out. And this color is very dreamy. It's definitely my vibe right now.
It's a big skein.
Yeah. And so I swatched it when we had our fiber friends meet up.
Yeah.
And I do have a fleece aversion, so I was a little worried that the texture was going to feel too fleecy, but it feels nice. It's a decent blend. So it's an acrylic wool blend, polyester. So they're calling it a super bulky. I would say it's probably more of a bulky weight, and so the pattern is written in a DK weight yarn with a size 7 needle, and I knit this on a 9, and so I just went up a needle size and then knit the smallest size in the pattern, and I didn't do any of the other work that you're supposed to do, so I would recommend that you approach this at your own style, but my idea was that I would just knit the smallest one and see what happens, because it's knit with so much ease. I thought that it would be fine either way, and it did. It worked out good.
It's perfect, and
so
it's affordable.
Yeah, I only used 2.5 skeins of this.
What?
Which seems wild.
That is wild.
Yeah.
2.5.
And
do you know how much this yarn is? Do you remember? If you don't, it's okay.
I always bought it on sale, but I think it's like $8 or $9 on sale, but I think I got it for around $6 every time. So
wow,
definitely under $20. So
oh my gosh,
that feels pretty good.
That's a win.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how the yarn holds up, because it is, a little fuzzy. So I don't know. I mean, if it does pill, I think it's just going to be part of the sweater, right? Because it is so
good.
Fuzzy.
No, it looks amazing.
And like,
I think it's going to be fine.
I think it's a great yarn. It's affordable. It was fun, quick to knit with.
Yeah.
It is a lower price point, which is good and bad, right? Like,
sure.
It has some drawbacks. Like, you can see the white cording in some places.
Sure.
But I don't really mind that. It blends in pretty well.
I think so.
Yeah. It doesn't have any stretch in it, so I think that'll be probably something to touch base with later on to kind of see how this sweater reacts. Because once it stretches out, I think that's probably the size it is. Doesn't have any memory, so it's not going to bounce back at all.
True. I was surprised that there was a little bit of wool. That is kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, it's that Will Ease line, right?
Oh yeah.
All the Will Ease has a little bit in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's fantastic. It looks so good.
Thanks. I really like it. I love this neckline. I would definitely knit this sweater again if I feel the need to.
Yeah.
But Andrea's patterns are great, really straightforward.
No doubt.
Definitely do it.
And you made this really fast. Like, it was so quick.
It's on 9, so it took a little bit, maybe like 3 weeks to do. Yeah, and I was waiting for yarn in there, so I definitely probably could have knocked it out in a couple of weeks if I wasn't knitting anything else. But do you want to see what I'm working on now?
Yeah.
So I was influenced by Jen to buy a baby bagu.
I love that size. And
it's
Snoopy.
Really good. I had to buy a new computer, which is awesome and awful at the same time. But I had to get a new computer case, and so I ordered a bagu, and then had to get my free shipping.
Yeah.
You can't pay for shipping when you can get a bag instead. So I thought I would listen to Jen and give it a whirl. But I am working on the popcorn slipover.
Oh yeah.
So this is an old Sandnes Garn pattern.
Okay.
Just watched Emily from the Botanical Knitter this morning. She was struggling with that word, so now I'm like, am I saying Sandnes wrong? So
I think that's right.
I apologize. She had a really hilarious, try and get to the correct word this morning. But
that's funny.
I got this yarn for Christmas from my partner, and finally getting around to it. So it's called the Popcorn Slipover. I think it came out in 2012, so it's definitely older.
Ooh.
But I just did my first round of bobbles.
It looks good. The bobbles are fun.
Yeah.
Is it 2 strands?
Yes. So you hold this. I was just trying to look and see what the other one is. I left the label at home. So it's popcorn slip over number 6, and this is the this one is the 10. Is that how you say it? Silk mohair.
I think.
YNN silk mohair. And so they're just
Cool.
held double. And oh, I actually don't have a picture because this pattern is not unraveling unless I'm insane.
Yeah, some of their things are like separate and different and sometimes hard to find.
Yeah, and I had to, I think I ordered it, or he ordered it through Mother Knitter.
Nice.
So you have to buy the yarn to get the pattern.
Yes.
And then it's just a PDF pattern. So
okay, I see. Here's popcorn slip over. So cute.
it's a vest, and then it has baubles sporadically. So I think it's like every 5 rows, I'll do another offset bauble collection.
Amazing.
Yeah, and then I think because it is so not so old. I mean, that's 13 years ago, but
Wow.
it's got the high-low of the
Oh.
ribbing and the split hem. Which
Okay.
usually I take it out of all of my patterns, but the way that the pattern or the vest sits with the lower neckline and kind of like hits right at the hip, so I was afraid that if I did it all in the round, it would kind of distort the shape of it.
Ah.
So right now I'm going
You're trusting
with
it.
him. Mhm. I'm like right in between sizes, so I may rip it out and start over, but right now
No, it looks amazing.
it's like that weird thing where do you want 2 inches of positive ease or do you want 6? I want 4.
I understand that.
6 feels like way too much.
6 feels like a lot, but some people do that. Like some people knit 10 and 12 inches,
Yeah.
and it's like,
And I think that
Wow.
like, this probably is, you know,
that
like
might be, but that look, I
But-
mean, that it just look really good.
That, you know, it's like more
Yeah.
of a fitted thing.
Best is different.
So I don't know. Right now I'm doing the smaller size.
I think it's
I think
great.
I'm doing like the 39 is what it factors out to be.
That'll
It's-
be good.
It's also all written in metrics or
Oh,
right centimeters. What is that?
yeah. No, that's right.
YouTube is hard. People.
I know.
Um,
I know.
so I had to convert it all, and so then you get, you know, like 38.8735. It's like, okay,
Right.
call that 39. But yeah,
No,
so
that's
still in
exciting.
my purple pink
It
red
is.
family vibe.
Even your bag is.
Guys, how did this happen?
I don't know. And your bog bag, which
I
is
know.
really
Oh, yes.
cool, though.
My friend bought this for me for Christmas.
It's
because
seriously your entire outfit and the bag and everything in the bag. And
really
all your
is.
knits are all this like vibe. It's,
It really happened fast, you guys.
it's so good.
I went from black and gray and green to all in on purple and pink. So I don't really know what happened, but someone has not been controlling me.
I support it. That's cool.
It's all right. We'll see what the next color of the month is.
No, that's fun. Thanks for sharing all your stuff. I'm just knitting my Moxie all day. I want to just knit this all day. So let's take a look at my Dean and Bean machine just so you can see all the pieces and how you put it together and everything. And then I'll show you how I pack it up. A big part of the reason I chose this machine, because people ask me this all the time, is it is lightweight and portable. It's really easy to put together. It's really fast. Even in my house, I can take it apart and put it back together really quickly. And I just store it in this little box that I got from Joann Fabrics. Rest in peace, JoAnns. And then the price. This is much more budget friendly than the big, like the Erlbacher machines and the metal machines that sometimes they're $2,500 and up, especially with all the accessories and different things you need. This is way more budget friendly. And I wasn't sure if I would really like knitting socks this way. And you don't know until you get the machine, you know, how you feel about it. And there is a big learning curve. And so I thought this was more entry level and I could see how I felt about it and see how much I liked it before I invested a lot of money. So that was kind of why I decided on the Dean and Bean. And it comes in yellow. It looks really cool. And I think I've had this for at least 4 years and it has held up really well. And so those are the questions I get most often, but this is how easy it is to set up. So this whole piece stays together, and then the cylinders can come out. There's different size cylinders with different numbers of needles, and this is the most common one that I use, so I just leave it in there. So this is the yarn mast with a heel spring, and it just attaches like this. It's very, very simple. This holds a little light that I can attach on here, and then you can feed your yarn under here, and then this you can activate the heel spring or leave it off depending on if you thread through this top part. And it's just that simple. And then when I'm there, I will turn this so I have to hold it because I don't want it to fall. So my sock will go down through here. It won't hit the table. And then there are clamps that hold it to the table that you can clamp onto the edge of your table. And so that is seriously all it takes to set up the machine, and how easy it is to set up and take apart. It's like got to be the easiest. So since this machine is 3D printed, I do take care with how I store it. I have this bin just for the machine and some bubble wrap just to keep it safe and protected. You don't want it to be in like a really hot car or a cold temperature, like you don't want big temperature shifts because the plastic can crack or melt, especially mostly in the heat. So, but I've never had any problems with that. I just, and I keep it in this bin at home as well as when I'm traveling, and it's really been pretty easy. And then I just kind of put this over the top, and then I use that to store my other parts. And that's the only thing I keep in this bin is just this stuff, and keep it protected and safe while I'm traveling to the crank-in. So other than the machine, I also bring a bunch of yarn, obviously. I have to wind the yarn on cones, and I'll kind of show you. I have some wound already and ready to go, and I have some more yarn that I want to wind before I leave. And there's lots of supplies and things that you bring. And I just kind of keep these bags packed at all times with everything I need so nothing gets misplaced. So let me go over some of the tools and supplies that I bring. So the last time I packed all of this up, I was really smart and kind of went through and organized everything. So I feel like packing for this time is going to be much easier, which I'm very grateful for. Thank you, Jen of the past, for thinking of me now. Yeah, I have this big heavy bag with all the tools and supplies. Everything is in here. Everything I use, I put back in here so I can find it again. I keep a trapper keeper with all of my notes and my sock patterns. Yes, there are sock patterns for the machine. And I also sometimes write down if I change anything, modify anything, do any sock experiments. And I also write down what gauge I'm getting for different yarns. And so like for Felici from Knit Picks, I will do 62 on the foot, 40 to 50 on the leg. And I write down these numbers for each brand of yarn that I might be using, which is really helpful when I get there because the gauge changes with the thickness of sock yarn, and it varies a lot, surprisingly. And the machine, you can also mess with the tension to make it tighter and looser, and you want the sock to fit. And so I've kind of figured it out over time, especially as I try different yarn brands, and I keep all those notes in my Trapper Keeper, like the 80s, it's great. And then in here, I have all the good stuff. So I will start by saying, before I get into all the supplies, that if you get into sock knitting machines, there are a lot of accessories and supplies and tools that you will need to collect. You don't just get the machine and start. There's like a lot of stuff. So if you want your sock knitting to be successful, you will need these things. And this is what I bring to the crank-in. The cool thing about Dean & Bean is they offer different packages with their machines that come with a lot of this stuff. So I think I ordered something called like the kitchen sink package or something like that came with a lot of this stuff. So that was really nice to have like that jump start. And then there's little things like lubricant and stuff like that that you'll have to get as you go, but it's not a big deal. And it is really fun, and it's part of the fun. I have a whole bag just designated for this stuff. The other cool thing about Dean & Bean, since they are 3D printed, they do sell little replacement parts that match your machine. Just in case something should break or need replacing after years of use. I keep some of these on hand just in case, especially like in the winter, if I'm transporting this and something would get cold and crack, I can easily replace it with these parts. And I know my machine well enough now, I can kind of, it's just like little screws and screwdrivers. You can change things around and fix stuff if you really need to. And then these parts are sometimes $5. They're very inexpensive, so it's very easy to maintain your machine and keep it going. It's another question I get asked a lot because it's not like the metal machines, but it's really easy to take care of it and maintain it and replace anything if something should break. But I've had really good luck with mine all these years, and I've used the heck out of it, and so I can feel confident saying it's a great machine. So as I showed you as I was packing up my machine, the yarn mast on my machine that holds the yarn has a little clip, like a little area on the top where you can clip this little light, which comes in handy. It's like a little LED light and it just clips on like this. And then this plugs in, and it really helps you see your stitches. And there's little things you need to do with little hooks that you really need to see what you're doing. And so this comes in handy, and Dean & Bean sold this too, custom for this machine. But it's just a really nice accessory to have. And so I always bring that. I just showed you my dry lube, and there's ceramic grease just to keep things moving nicely. And also a bunch of us bring dryer sheets because sometimes static can build up, especially in the winter. And so I just keep a little Ziploc of those in my bag. This is a sock bonnet, and it has little rings that hook around your needles. And this is how you begin every sock or every tube. This is kind of where you add your waste yarn. Another thing you use with your sock bonnet is ravel cord, and it's kind of a waxed cord that's almost like dental floss, but not. And it goes between your waste yarn and your real yarn. And then when you make a cuff, you can kind of pull this out, and it detaches the sock from your waste yarn, and then you can take this off. And it's just like a necessary thing. And so I have a few packs of this because after a while it kind of wears out and you just tear some off and start a new one. I've got granola bar. Soft weights. I have these in different sizes. They're just like heavy weights that you put in your tube to make things crank evenly. You have to have some weight on there to keep things going. There's also heel forks that match my machine, and you hook these into the stitches in the tube as it goes down, especially when you need a little extra weight when you're working on the heel and toe. And these are really fun, but this is what makes the bag heavy, is all these weights. They don't look like a lot, but they're nice and heavy. We have cardboard cones that we wind the yarn onto. The machine does not take a skein. You can't just have like a skein and go straight from there. You have to put your skein on a cone or it won't work. You'll be really sad. And this is one of those self-striping skeins from Nomadic Yarns, one of my favorite yarns. And it's gonna be really fun to see how this stripes up. But yeah, I wound this with a drill. There's like a drill attachment, like just a regular drill. And then you stick this on, and then you make the drill spin, and it winds your yarn onto the cone. And so there is winders you can purchase, but I just haven't gone that far into it, and I just use a drill. So it can be done by hand. I have a few of these super strong clamps just in case the clamps I have don't work on the table that I have. And so I bring different tables sometimes, or there's sometimes a table at these crank-ins, but these are a little bit stronger and more sturdy so that my machine doesn't fall on the floor, which would be tragic. So I always have some of these on hand. It's always good to clamp things down. I also have a Dean & Bean ribber, which I am not good at using yet. This takes a lot of practice, but I want to get there. So sometime I will get better at this, and then you can make a ribbed leg and a ribbed foot, and it's like magical and really expands the things that you can make. So someday I will get the hang of this. It's just a little bit scary for me right now. Last year at our Dean & Bean specific crank-in that we had in Kansas City, they moved it and I can't go this year, and I'm so bummed, but for 2 years they had it in Kansas City, and it was so great. I learned so much about my machine because the whole Dean & Bean team comes, and it's amazing. But someone on the team made us these little machine covers, and it's almost like a little pillowcase, so you can keep dust from getting into your machine, which is really great, and you can keep it covered, especially if you're going to leave it out. I don't leave mine out, but I will cover it when I leave it overnight at the crank-in that I'm going to this weekend, because we kind of leave our machines set up for the next day, which is really nice. So it was so nice that someone made us these. And then I'm going to get into my pouch of tools, which are all so necessary. You cannot crank socks without this stuff. I obviously have pens for all my notes. I have a little baby scissors for cutting the yarn. There is a moon tool that we have with our machines that help lift up the needles when you're going to make a heel or toe. You have to lift some needles out of work, and this does the perfect amount. I have tweezers, I have darning needles in various sizes. There's a little magnet tool in case you need to lift needles or get things out of your machine in the middle. A little baby ruler. And then we have multiple different hooks, various sizes and shapes to fix mistakes, especially this one and this one. You need all these all the time to lift various stitches, to fix runs that have dropped stitches that have fallen. These are like my most used tools. I have more scissors, more pens. This little gadget reminds me where I'm at in my process, especially if I have to like leave and come back, or if I'm going out for lunch and coming back. I don't remember where I was in my sock process. This will remind you if you're cranking, lowering, or lifting your needles. This is a Dean and Bean thing too, which is so handy, and I forget all the time where I am in the process because it's kind of a slow thing, especially the lifting and lowering. I get them mixed up all the time. So this is a nice little reminder that just sits on my machine and helps me keep track of where I am. I have a handy dandy cable ring that opens and closes with this, it like will stay locked around it goes below the weight in the sock tube, and you can move the weight up to where it needs to be, and this is invaluable. I have a little tiny Dean and Bean screwdriver. These little weights, they're like fishing weights on clips that help you kind of get started with your tails. It kind of keeps everything in place. And then I have lots of these little stitch markers, you know, the little ones we use for knitting as well, that are like a little safety pin, and measuring tape, more stitch markers, a little tiny notebook. And I think that's about it for my knitting pouch. That's most of the stuff you need. That's pretty much it. It's not too bad. So let's take a look at the yarn I'm bringing to the crank-in. I purposely keep it in my Trader Joe's shopping bag so it's really easy to find, and so it's organized in my stash, you know, aside from my other hand knitting yarns, so it doesn't get all mixed up. And I have specific yarns ready to go for these type of events, and so this keeps it together. In this one, I have yarn that I have not yet put on cones, but I would like to. And then I have another big yarn bag full of, I think, mostly yarn on cones, but I'm going to go through it and look at it because I need a refresher because I don't remember what I was doing when I got this all ready. But I can also bring the other unwound yarns and wind it on the spot if I just bring a drill with me and those cardboard cones, and so I'm good to go. But I just want to look at this and kind of make a plan and see what I really specifically want to start with, so I kind of know when I get there. So like I showed you before, this is pneumatic yarns. It's that self-striping, and you can't really see until you get going what it's going to look like. I have this awesome colorway, again from Pneumatic Yarns, that I love, with kind of neutrals and a yellow. So good. And this is a cone of leftovers from a tube that I already knit from last time, but I have to still split it off. And this is like my holder for the yarn for the toe, cuff, and heel, so I know where it is. And so sometimes I have a leftover one that I need to use and knit from, and then I can fill that one up with more yarn. Oh yeah, this is a Regia. I think this is a K Facet striped colorway. Like I can remember I usually keep the tag inside, but sometimes they fall out. This is a Lion Brand one that I'm obsessed with that they don't make anymore. It's like a lemon colorway with a little bit of olive green and neon yellow mixed in, and I love this. I have one tube of this done, and this might be some of the leftover, but I have full skeins of this left because I went and found some on eBay because I love this one so much specifically. It is like a wool blend, and it feels really good on my foot, and so it's my favorite, and they don't make it anymore. And it's also in this colorway that I've also made a tube of before also as well. These are my two favorites, and so I did buy a bunch of extra of this, but I think what I was meaning to do with these is leave them for heels and toes and just have this left for hand knitting. This, see, the tags fell off and I kind of forgot, but I think this is a Knit Picks Felici with the thinner stripes. I don't know what they call this, and I don't know if it's available anymore, but it's really pretty blues and greens, and it's self-striping. This is a self-striping Van Gogh. Like, it's funny that I know this because I wound these, I think, last year. It's like a Van Gogh painting Regia art series. I need to get that one going because it's when they get kind of funny on the top like this, it's bad. And so I should really do these first. Both of these are kind of doing it, and you don't want them to get loose like that. And so I should be careful with those and make them my top priority, as well as this one. This was like a Knit Picks Felici with the thin stripes. It's like called something like Farmer's Market or something like that, like Garden. No. Is that it? Nope, that says Sapphire. That's a sticker from something else. I don't know what this is. Anyway, these that are a little loose on top, I need to do first. And so those should be my top 3. And then, oh wow, I have a lot of sock yarn in this bag that is not wound. So it's just 3 that are ready. Huh, is that all? I have some more somewhere else in a different bag. This is another Nomadic Yarns Christmas self-striping. Erica and I both love this dyer, and they're on Etsy, and they do an update every Saturday morning. And so check them out if you haven't before. Hand knitting as well. Just the best self-striping ever. I've got more Regia. Is this Ariane Carlos? Yep. I love that blue. I've got Sock Ease. That's the one. The Lion Brand Sock Ease that they don't make anymore. That is, it might be this too. Now I'm not remembering. But it's this, and it's this. And whenever I can find Sock Ease, I get it. And so I have these awesome colorways that I haven't done yet that I need to wind onto cones. This is another sock. Nope. Felicini. That's what it's called. That is this. Felicini is, I'm saying it wrong. Felicini. I always said Felici. Is that wrong? I don't know. Skinnier stripes of that classic yarn that everyone loves, that I have the wide stripes as well, but this is the smaller one. This one's called Bowling Alley, which I love. It also reminds me of the roller skating rink carpet. It can be both. Knit Picks Felici. I'm just going to say Felici because as I've always said, it might be Felici. Felici? I don't know. I have a lot of that because I collected this for years just as a hand knitter because it makes really great socks. And so I have 2 skeins in every colorway that you see here and more because I'm a little bit of a hoarder. But now I have a sock knitting machine and I can get through it a little bit faster. It still takes time. This is another one. Sunday Day Game. That's really fun. I was thinking, now I'm confused if this is this too or if it's different. I should have kept the tags, but with cranking, you can just do it. It's like, it'll take care of itself. It's fine. I've got this one. It's really cute. And this one, that's the wider striped one. And then there's a little bag from eBay of this, which is like a mushroomy color with neon yellow, and I love it so much. It is called Rock Candy, and I hoard it. I shouldn't, but I love it so much. I have a sock set from Kama Chameleon, who is a local dyer, and so I would save this, wind it, hand knit this part for the heel and toe, and crank a tube of the neon, which is so fun. I think it's a really fun combo. Madeline Tosh. Yep, that's a fun colorway too. This is so old and I need to crank this year. Gosh, when did I get this? Fab Funky Fibers, which I don't even know if they're around anymore. I love how they had grommets on their tags. But this colorway is self-striping. And if you're like an 80s, 90s kid, I'm gonna let you guess what this is based on. And you might figure it out. I'll just tell you. This is Use Your Illusion, Guns N' Roses, self-striping yarn. I have to have these socks. Why have I waited so long? I've had this for years. It's the Guns N' Roses covers. You know what I'm talking about. You know the ones. Use your illusion, 1 and 2. Okay. I have to get this on a cone. And it's split into 2, which is really nice because sometimes you're guessing when you make the tubes. Like I'll make 1 whole tube, which takes forever to do a whole sock skein on a tube. Then I can do 2 separate ones for this and leave enough for because I think I'm going to do matching stripe heel and toe for these, just use these. When I do that by hand, the afterthought, my favorite pattern is by Susan B. Anderson. It is her Smooth Operator socks, and it's like the best, easiest pattern, especially if you're doing the tube afterthought heel and toe. I love that pattern. So this has to be a priority this time. I have to have these. This is more of the Lion Brand Sock Ease. Another ball of the Lion Brand Sock Ease. This is an old one. And then I have Active Christmas yarn. I think I have a few of these somewhere else in a different bag. I was going to make my whole family Christmas socks. Did I get around to it? No. Maybe this year. I also love opal sock yarn, and I had to get this neon one the last time I saw this, and it is so fun. It's just like, I need neon yellow socks, obviously. And then I have these sock sets that I forgot about that I think I meant to crank last year and didn't get around to, but I love it when they come with the contrast color, so I just know to hand knit that, and it's just so easy. I won this set from the Coffee House collection from Hugh Loco, and it's really cute. It has 2 different contrast colors, and I love that one. It's called Cream and Sugar. I think that's adorable. That whole Coffee House collection sold out fast, and I remember all the colors were really good. And then I got this from Yarnaceous Fibers 3 years ago at one of the Rhinebeck events. I think it was the Wool and Folk bad rainy one. Not bad, but it was kind of hard. But I bought this from Yarnaceous Fibers, and I love obviously that neon with this, which I think is really fun. There's a lot of cool colors in there. That would be really fun to crank. It's like these, especially these sock sets, it's so easy just to crank that tube and then just do this by hand, and it just speeds it up and it's more fun. And then you get through, your yarn stash. Here's yet another sock set I forgot about from Lavender Loon, my friend Sam in Minnesota. Look how cute these contrasting colors are. That's really nice. It's called Many Moons. It was part of the Moon Fade subscription I did a couple of years ago that she has different subscriptions now, not the same one, but like surprise sock sets in the mail, which are very fun. And this is another one that would be fun to crank and then hand knit. Okay, my friend Erica just made socks with one of these unique sock sets, and now I'm really itching to make one too, because look how good the stripes are. I wonder if it's this exact one. I don't think it is. I think hers is different, but hers did have pink and purple. But I love how it comes in 2 little balls like this, so you get 2 perfect socks, and with cranking, that makes it so easy. So I'd really like to get to this, but I'd have to put this on cones, which is kind of a pain. I'm always tempted just to crank from this, but it does not work, and I should just not let myself even think about it because it will be a disaster. But I should put this on some of I only have, I think, 3 empty cones, so I'll have to look and see like what is my true favorites that I really want to make. It's so hard. This is like the hardest part, or I could buy some empty cones really fast, maybe in time, maybe not. Or maybe sometimes there is vendors at this event, and so sometimes people sell empty cones, but we'll see. I'm not sure. And then I have a Freya sock set that's similar, where it's already pre-wound and matching, and that would be so much fun to crank. And I really want to do that. And I think, yeah, this one's called Punk Rock. It's so cute. That is so much fun. And I can make really long socks, I think, with these. They look like they would be long. That would be fun. Here's all the Christmas yarn that I bought last year. Oh my gosh, what was I thinking? I was just like, I'm going to make all the Christmas socks. I'm not going to make that mistake this time, because they have yarn there and it's very tempting every time. I don't need any more, so I'm not going to buy any more yarn this time. I say now, and then I think some of this was door prize yarn that I got last time, because they give out really good door prizes as well. So I've got this really good orange, which is almost like our school colors, and this kind of purplish one that looks like that when it gets cranked. I love these when they have like a little pattern in it. That's really fun. This was, I think, another door prize, maybe. What is this brand? Oh, Active. Yep. Active is a really popular yarn that a lot of these crankers use. So an interesting fact about these crank-ins is that not everyone is a hand knitter. A lot of these people are specifically machine knitters. And so when I come with like my hand knitting brands or my hand dyed, they're sometimes like, whoa, what is that? Because a lot of them use Active or Regia or the typical sock yarn, like Active. A lot of people use that brand. And I had not heard of that until I got into the machine world. So it's really interesting. But I have knitted many socks in this already, but I think it's older and maybe they don't make it anymore. But this is a Regia K Facet that I love this stripe and these colors. And so I will totally make more of these socks. Whenever I can find this, I grab it and I collect it. So that is most of the yarn from my other bags. And I have one bag left and there is some yarn on cones. This is all over the place. And I honestly don't take out my machine a ton at home unless I've got like one specific skein I want to make into a tube. Like I did that before Rhinebeck last year. So some of this, it's like looking at new things again because I haven't looked at it since the last crank-in. So that is how I'm feeling about this. But I have this yarn on cones. There's a tag inside. Good. This is the Lion brand Sock Ease in kind of these pale colors. What is this one called? Martini. So that one's pre-wound. And then this is one of my leftovers that I use as like scrap yarn when I need waste yarn to begin my tubes. This is leftover Felici that I could use for some heel toes. It might have a tube that goes with it. But if it doesn't, I'm gonna start winding over this, or I don't know, I need more yarn on cones from the stuff that I want to knit this time. This is a fun neon that I think might be Active brand. Felicini in this like neutral stripe. Let's see. Here's a cone of something. Oh, there's a tag. I love it when they stay in there. Lang Super Socks. Got right back in there. Ooh, this is a really pretty one that I need to push down onto there. This, I think, is the Felicini. Why am I saying it wrong? I know I'm saying it wrong. Like blue-green kind of gold. I love this one. Gosh, how do I prioritize what I'm going to do? I want to make all of these. I'm going to be a cranking machine, but it's also very exhausting. Like you get really tired doing it after a while. So I have such high hopes, but I'm not going to get through all this. This is a fun, bright one that I know I've cranked before. And sometimes these come in really big skeins. And so I'll use this for a while as scrap yarn. Like these two I've kind of run through, like I've made enough things from them. And this is just nice to have one scrap yarn thing ready to go. This one too. This one, I think I made a pair out of already, and this could be scrap yarn, or I could cover it with a new one, or I could wind it off here. I don't know. These must be my scraps. Kind of a scrap bag. This one I've used for scrap forever, and I will never run out, and I've made tubes from it too, and there's so much of it left. But yeah, and you can make like Franken socks out of these too. Like you can mix and match. Where's my blue one? Like especially, you can stripe these for a while and they'll make like crazy socks. That's kind of fun too, except I don't like to change colors too much because it gets kind of complicated. But anyway, that is the majority of the yarn I am bringing. Now that it's all out, I'm gonna lay out what I really wanna make and prioritize that, get the drill out and put it on cones so that is ready. And I think I'm gonna put all my cones, reorganize, put them all in one Trader Joe's bag so I can start with that and not bring all this extra into the building because we're kind of limited on space. So I'm gonna plan and organize and get it ready. So I'm gonna get all of this yarn packed up. I know it kind of looks ridiculous right now. I'm gonna get it packed and organized, and the next time I see you will probably be, like I might show you a little preview of the retreat when I get there, and then I'll do a recap next week. In the meantime, let's go on a college visit. took Lotus and her best friend to Iowa State University for a campus visit. They've both been accepted and are going to be roommates in the fall, and we are so excited for both of them. That night, I met up with Erica to go check on the status of our JoAnns and the clearance sale. And the store was packed with super long lines. The sad last days.
Sad last days.
So our yarn is way picked over now. Wow. That's so much less than like last week. We're so glad we loaded up when we did on our big twist, because now a bunch of it's gone. Okay, Erica's trying not to get more of the pink that she loves, because how many do you have? You already have?
I have 4 already.
Okay. Maybe a good even 5 or like a.
You're not talking me into it. I've been wearing my hot pink hat like every single day since I cranked it like a month and a half ago.
Get one more as a backup. No.
A backup.
A backup.
You know, because the 4 I have will make like 9, 10 hats.
Oh, that's true. Okay. Big twist is gone.
Any big twists?
It's worth checking. You like can sniff it out. Ooh, a box of Big Twist. Must look.
Oh, poor Joann.
I know.
Please.
I know.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. The thread is disappearing. The batting is almost gone. Look at the cut fabric counterline. See, these weird buttons bring us joy. The ones we would never buy, the ones we don't need, but like,
Look at those
cats.
Look at those eyes. They're so real.
They have such detail. These little sets.
I'll just sew them on everything I own.
Oh my gosh, there's like all different cats too. What are these? Rabbits? Animals? Yeah, they do. The lion. Oh, the scissors are gone. This is all gone. Oh, that is good. We're trying to decide like what's worth getting now and what's worth waiting for. Some of it's not that much on sale, but it's gone. Like things are gone. That's cute. That's cute. We're in line. Three hours later.
We're so close.
We've been in this line at least a half hour. How long do you think we've been in this line?
A half hour.
Okay. Look, it says Big Twist on it. Okay, I just made it to Pigs. It's really nice outside. It's like 60 degrees, but it's super windy. So I am going to unload all the stuff from my car, take it inside, get everything set up, and say hi to some friends and start cranking. That is all I have for today, but thank you once again for hanging out with me on a Saturday. I still want to do a live at some point. I am kind of scared, and that's why I haven't done it yet, but at some point I want to do it. Maybe during Knit for Food, maybe on April 5th. Speaking of Knit for Food, thank you so much for all your donations. I can't even believe it. My little donation page is over $1,000 already, and it's like we're just getting started. But thank you so much. It matters more than ever. Like I mentioned last time, the organizations that we're helping are in jeopardy of losing their funding. And so this year is a big deal, and anything you can give really, really helps. So thank you so much for helping and donating towards Knit for Food. It is a 12-hour knitting fundraiser that we're doing on April 5th. If you haven't heard of it, you can help and knit and fundraise. You can join a team. You can organize an event, or you can just donate using my link below. So thank you so much for your help. It really matters more than ever. So I thank you. Also, I have some really big knitting news coming up that I cannot wait to share with you. If you want to learn more about that, sign up for my newsletter below. The link is below, newsletter. I'll share it here as well, but you can like and subscribe, click the notification bell. All those things really help out my channel, but I will be uploading a new video every single Saturday. So stop back next week and I will share the recap from our knitting crankin' sock knitting event. You can see everything I made and what we did and all the different things from the weekend. So thank you so much for hanging out here. I really appreciate it. I love all your comments and all the discussions we have in the comment section. So thank you for taking the time to do that. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.